This is probably one of the most legendary cities in all of Latin America, nestled in the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. It used to be a former Incan city, but when the Spanish came, they changed the entire city, turning it into the colonial charm that you can actually see right behind me. It's a town that maybe people don't really visit. They'd rather go to see kind of cities in Peru and Colombia. And you might miss out on this country entirely, but this is the incredible city of Cuenca, Ecuador. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to another beautiful video. We are in our new country today. We are in the country of Ecuador, and this is my first time being in the country, first time being in the city of Cuenca, which is a beautiful historic colonial town in the southern part of the country. It's supposed to be an incredible city to enjoy, but here's the thing. Today is Sunday, which means that a lot of things are closed. A lot of museums are closed. A lot of things that usually people come to Cuenca to do are closed, which means that today's kind of like a chill day. We actually just got into the city at 7:30 in the morning, which means that I am kind of tired and I kind of just want to relax, learn about Cuenca, get accustomed to it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to walk around the city, we're going to enjoy, we're going to see what's open, we're going to see what's closed, and we're just going to sort of take a chill, nice, cool day here in the city. It's good to sort of recoup. We've been on the road for a while, we've had a quite busy week, and finally here on Sunday we are in Cuenca, we're in Ecuador, we're in a new country. So let's go ahead, let's start exploring this new country. Let's start with the beautiful city of Cuenca. First stop of the day here in Cuenca is this street here. This is Calle Larga. It's a long road and it actually goes right along the river. So on the opposite side of this road is actually the river that sort of runs through Cuenca. And there's a lot of interesting things to see here. First off, the buildings are sort of old. They're the old sort of cultural ones. Of course, they're not as old as the ones like in the church and that area that we'll see tomorrow, but you still get a feel of how people live here in Cuenca. These are very residential buildings. They can probably see like that is probably somebody's apartment here. So this is where people actually live. But there is something really interesting that I wanted to show you guys in Ecuador. So let's go ahead. It's right behind me. It's a museum. So let's go ahead and let me show you what's really interesting here in Ecuador. If any of you guys think of Panama, you might think of the Panamanian hats. That's like a classic sort of hat that people go to Panama and they buy, but the truth is, Panama hats are not from Panama. They're actually here from Ecuador, and here we are currently at the Museum of the Panama hats, although they should really be called Ecuadorian hats, because this is where they start. And people here actually call them Ecuadorian hats. They don't call them Panama hats because, you know, they're hats that were developed here in Ecuador. They've got the whole museum set up here, but I don't think anybody's here. It's incredible that they're not actually Panamanian hats, they're Ecuadorian hats. And they've also got a gift shop where you can buy a lot of these Ecuadorian hats as well in Cuenca. To create the size of the Panama hat to fit you correctly, they literally create an electrical head and aluminum molds of your head to regulate your size. That's why they call it a size regulator. You can probably see it right there. And then they are able to create a shape, and based on that shape, that's how they make the hat. But yeah, I don't think I want my head to be made into an aluminum electrical thing. That just doesn't sound like something that would be really interesting. I mean, the hat comes out amazing, of course, but not sure if I would be willing to risk an aluminum copy of my head in order for that to come true. Everything we had seen so far is how they traditionally do it. But here, now we get to the big machines. This is how modern day machinery takes care of the same thing. You've got these big, giant, massive, actually, metal things. And you can see a mold literally right there on the inside. That's the mold where they put the straw in, press it down with the heat automatically. It fixes it. You don't have to keep ironing like you did back in the olden days, but it really shows the evolution of how they made straw hats from the traditional sort of weaving it up, having the composer go and literally steam iron until it had a design until what you have today. Aluminum molds fit into a big machine that apply heat, and instantly it pops out just like a fresh new Ecuadorian hat. It's really cool to see how much technology has changed, particularly when it comes to hat making here in Ecuador. At the back of the Hat Museum is actually a viewpoint of Cuenca, Ecuador. In the background you can hear and you can see the river that sort of runs through shallowly through the city of Cuenca, and you can see the background. Look at the mountains in the backdrop. These are the Andes. We are literally smack dab in the center of the Andes, and this is what it looks like. This is incredible. I mean, who knew a hat museum would have a great viewpoint like this at the end of it? I have to say, that's one of my favorite museums. It's so cool, it's so interactive. You really get to, it's very informative, and they have all the information there. You really get to walk through the history of the Ecuadorian hat, see how it was made, see how it developed, and see how modern technology has sort of taken over that role and sort of replaced any need for sort of the human old sort of weaving, any need for the composers to go in and make those hats. Now we got modern technology. It's a great museum. It's set up amazingly, and the best part is it is completely free. You're not obligated to buy anything. You just have to go in and watch and walk through the museum. If you want, you can buy an Ecuadorian hat. They are a little bit pricey. I've seen some that are like $50, $100. So a little bit pricey, but also you're getting some of the highest quality hats in the world here in Cuenca. So that's pretty incredible. So if you want to buy a souvenir, you want to buy a nice Ecuadorian hat, this is probably a place to do it after you've looked through the museum and learned a little bit more about the history of Ecuadorian hats. Interesting attraction here in Cuenca, Ecuador is this thing right here. Now it looks like it's a great walkway, right? Well, it ends here. It literally ends right here, and you might say, oh well, there's a river they should have just built across. They tried to, but they failed. The bridge collapsed. This is called the Puente Roto, or the broken bridge, or the bridge that, you know, didn't work, because they tried to connect this side of the river to the other side of the river, but obviously it didn't really work out. But the building is incredible. It's made completely of brick, so it's a brick bridge. Even the ground you can see is all built with brick. It's a really nice place, and it actually gives you very clear views of the river right below me. So you're literally right on the edge of the shore. You can see the river, you can feel the river, and the view actually onto the taller parts of Cuenca are pretty incredible. So it's not a bad place. It's just they failed to build a bridge, and now the failed bridge, the broken bridge, has become an attraction in its own right here in Cuenca. Whenever you think there's a failure in life, turn it into a success like the people in Cuenca did, because that is exactly what you see here with this bridge. In fact, you can see the foundations here. You can tell it was going to be built more. There was more of it that was going to extend, but obviously it failed. So that's what we're left with today. That's the river that was never crossed by this bridge. There are other bridges that cross it, but this is not the bridge that you're going to take to get to the other side. One thing that I've really noticed about this city is that there is a ton of street art, just like the street art that I have right behind me. And a lot of the street art is very symbolic of Ecuador. Like that one, I think, is like an image of a woman sort of giving water, the importance of water, whereas here right behind me, those are the classic domes of the cathedral here in Cuenca, which we will see in the next video. But the street art here is incredible. It's very vibrant, it's very rich, and I think the government has really encouraged people to go out and paint and add to the beauty of Cuenca. A lot of these streets, like, they don't actually interfere with the old historic center. A lot of these street arts are just on like concrete surfaces where it really makes sense to have street art. So I have to say Cuenca has some of the best street art I've seen. I really enjoy the street art scene here, and there's just so many different themes and different topics that are explored in the art in the city. I think we'll end the video here. This is sort of like a first impressions video here of Cuenca, Ecuador. It's nice, it's a nice city. A lot of things are closed. It is a Sunday after all. It's a very sleepy city from what I see. That might just be because it's Sunday, nothing's really open. I feel like I walked around the town and it felt like a ghost town. Like nobody was awake, nobody was doing anything. Yeah, sure, the markets were open, that's for sure. But aside from that, like the restaurants along the street here, most of them were actually closed. The bakeries were closed, a lot of things were closed. So I feel like if you come on a Sunday, just expect to chill in your hostel, sleep, get some rest. Sure, you can visit the hat store. That one was really cool. I really like the hat museum. But aside from that, this museum closes at 4. All the other museums aren't even open today. So it feels like Sunday is just a sort of dead day here in Cuenca. So not the most exciting day, and I know definitely not the most exciting vlog, but there are definitely some highlights today. The hat museum was something that was really interesting to me, something that I really wanted to see here in Cuenca. Along with that, the broken bridge, something that's just fun, something that's just interesting to do here in Cuenca. I know it's not the most exciting vlog, I also know it's not the most cinematic vlog, but with that said, it is a nice area, it is a nice little town. It's just today's Sunday, that's why I can't really do much, that's why I can't really show you guys much in the vlog. But the next video here in Cuenca is going to be an exciting one. We're going to do a lot, we're going to see a lot, and I can't wait to show you guys all about this city. So make sure to stay tuned, and I will see you guys on the next video here from Cuenca, Ecuador. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.